All right, welcome back. TimeOut here. Talk about the Chargers Ravens. 23-17. Chargers won. Um, was a really defensive battle in the first half. 12-0. Chargers went up at halftime. Ravens just didn't get it going until about that last 5 minutes, and then they kind of made it a little interesting. I'd probably say about the last 7 minutes of the fourth. And but my personal opinion in this game is that Lamar Jackson just wasn't ready. And they couldn't do nothing in the first half. I mean, I think at halftime he was like 2 for 7 with 17 yards and had dropped the ball twice on the ground for fumbles. Got lucky that the Chargers didn't recover, and then he had a pick too. So I thought at halftime though Harbaugh should have went to Flacco. I really thought so, and I thought that the defense made enough plays there at the beginning of the half. They got the forced a fumble, and then I'm getting 3 points out, and then they forced a punt, and Tucker ended up missing a field goal. So I think if you would have had Flacco and just his veteran and his playoff presence, I think he would have been able to punch one of those in. So I was really hoping they went with Flacco, but they did it. But you got to give credit, and this is where it becomes such a. Philip Rivers doesn't have a ton of playoff experience, but he just has so much game experience that his game experience was able to lead. Truly believe the Chargers to a victory over the Ravens, and I really think that's what it comes down to. That Philip Rivers has so much experience. Antonio Gates has so much experience, and the Ravens are just that young team that they just they've won game with defensive special teams, and it just gets so hard to win the playoffs if you can't score. So I picked the Ravens, but this was probably the hardest game to pick in my opinion. Credit goes to the Chargers, but their season's going to end next week because they have no chance of winning in Foxborough.
Easy, not so fast. No, not so fast. As you guys know, I said in the last podcast, the Los Angeles Chargers are going to win the Super Bowl. Yes, going to win the Super Bowl. Hey, and they got the first step done. Wild card weekend, got it done. It was definitely, the Ravens, got to give them credit. Their defense kept them in it early off in the game and throughout the game. Chargers got in the red zone a lot, and they would have to kick field goals, Keep bringing the field goal unit on, and so they really kept them in the game, and I agree totally with what Zai said, I think they should have gone to Flacco maybe a little earlier, because I think if they would have put him in, they might have ended up winning this game, late on. So, but Chargers, not a huge game by Philip Rivers. They just kind of, their defense, got an interception, forced a couple of fumbles, even though they didn't recover them. But yeah, like Lamar, just needs to. I don't know, like Lamar, I think he's a great young talent, but I don't know if you're ever gonna make a deep run in the playoffs with him. Like he can really run the ball, really athletic, really fast. But I don't think he can like make a play downfield when it matters, really. They might need to get another quarterback in the draft or something, or make a trade. But I think it'd be a great backup. But I just think, yeah, he doesn't have like the arm ability, the arm talent to mean down. Let's say they're down like 4 or 5 points late in the game and gotta get a touchdown to win the game with like a minute left. I don't think he's gonna, set up a winning drive to score a touchdown. But I do think he's a great young talent. And then hats off to my boys, Melvin Gordon. Like I told you guys, he's a big baller. Had a pretty good game. Actually, he didn't even play that great. Got injured early. Only had 40 yards, but he did get a touchdown. That kind of controversial after the controversial fumble recovery on the goal line. But yeah, just my Super Bowl pick, one step at a time. Trust the process, and they're on next week against Zai's Patriots, and I have them going to the Super Bowl, so they're going to win next week too.
I'll do my best Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonation here. Go Chargers! The Bolts. I picked them to win it. They won it. The game was. I watched first minute. Within the first 3 minutes of the ball game, the Ravens fumbled 3 times, and right then and there, oh boy, it's going to be a long day. I talked about it a little bit when we were doing our predictions. Lamar Jackson being a rookie quarterback, first time ever in the playoffs, it's going to be difficult for him. It's not like the Chargers have some, rollover, layover defense. They're legit. So when the Ravens have 4 fumbles on the day, we've seen the last one too, which capped it off. it makes it tough to win games. I think Big Zy was the one who predicted kicker would be the MVP. Unfortunately, it wasn't Justin Tucker. It was Bagley for the Chargers, but played great. And sometimes, we've seen it a lot this week in the playoffs that kickers are your make and break guys. They get all the love or they get all the hate, especially late in games. So hats off to Bagley for doing that. I think the Chargers defense, their offense wasn't terrific. Phillip Rivers didn't throw a touchdown. Ingram got in on, what was it, like a 1-yarder. It was right there at the goal line. But the Chargers had great field position all day long, from the Ravens turnovers. Then let's go and look at the return game again. Special teams have been big here early in the playoffs. Desmond King had the huge kick return. It was like 70-yard kick return. Had a couple big punt returns. So when your offense gets set up in good field position, it makes it a little bit easier. It takes a load off from guys like Phillip Rivers, who hasn't done great in the playoffs. You can even argue that he didn't do great today. He's kind of got that curse. I mean, he only threw for over 150 yards, just over 150, no touchdowns. Didn't have a great QBR. Nothing spectacular from the Chargers on the offensive end. But you look at, their defense, the special teams, they stepped it up. They got the job done against a rookie, Lamar Jackson. I think Harbaugh has instilled his trust in him. Not going with Joe Flacco earlier, I think shows that. I think Jackson's the quarterback of the future for the Ravens. I don't expect Joe Flacco to be there after this offseason here. So I think John kind of expressed that, Lamar's my quarterback. He had a bad game, but he went 6-1 as a rookie. He did play well. So you gotta tip your hat a little bit to him. I think he's going to have a decent NFL career. But like I said, the Chargers walked away with this one. I felt good too. I was 2-1 going into the late slate on Sunday. So
Yeah, I'll just to kind of piggyback what Trav said. And, this is where Dr. Pipper, I know you're going to disagree, but for the Chargers, Phillip Rivers, they're not going to be able to kick field goals against the Patriots. And one of the tough parts for the Chargers is that they got to fly home, get ready, and then they're going to probably be home a day or two, and they got to fly all the way to Foxborough, and you just never know the weather this time of the year there. And, you kind of what Trav's talking about, special team stuff like that. But we all know Bill Belichick and the Patriots are probably one of the best teams of that year in and year out. So I just look at it, Melvin Gordon, he's not 100% healthy, and that was even before he got hurt today. You can just tell, anytime he gets hit hard, it just looks, it hurts me because it's hurting him. And I think you've seen it today a little bit. Keenan Allen, he made a couple of nice catches, but if you can take him out of the game, they don't really have a ton of playmakers that are going to just kill you. So everything they were catching, now credit to Phillip Rivers, like 10 guys caught a pass. So they spread it around, but, you don't see a ton of guys. Mike Williams caught one deep ball, but making plays down the field. And it's just going to be really hard to beat the Patriots because I almost want to say the Chargers are playing like a poor version of how the Patriots play. So I just, good win for them. I think that Harbaugh did show trust in Lamar Jackson. I'm not sure that's the right move, but I do think he was afraid if I put Flacco in and Flacco wins us this game, we're going to have a problem in the future. And that's, I don't think they wanted to go in that direction. But, Lamar Jackson's going to have he needs to become a pocket passer because if not, his career is going to be short. And, the Ravens going to be looking for another quarterback pretty quick. So, just overall, I was disappointed in how the Ravens played. And, good win for your Chargers, Dr. Pepper. But, their season will be packed. They'll be packing their bags this time Sunday.
Not so fast, Zai. Not so fast. I totally agree with. They got to capitalize on mistakes, If the Pats make a mistake, they got to capitalize. When they're in the red zone, they got to punch it in for 7, for sure, because you don't know how many chances you'll get against the Pats. And it's a team that to prepare for, it's going to be probably the toughest to prepare for, playing Belichick and Tom Brady. But I'm still hanging with my boys to meet them and head to the Super Bowl. So this was the first step, and I think it's really encouraging the Chargers, their defense still, continuing to play really good. So Go Bolts, go. That's all I gotta say. Bolt up, boys. Bolt up.
And that's going to do it for Chargers Ravens. Next, we'll talk about the last game. Crazy ending there in Chicago with the Eagles in Chicago.